This is Big Red Ryan Redfield, and I am drinking at Moe's.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' at Moe's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're filling out your order, use the code Drinkin' at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome to Drinkin' at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, because that YouTube algorithm is a pain in the ass. We're most places you find the audio podcast too. Leave a review, helps out there too. Today, I'm excited to have with me Big Ryan Redfield. How you doing?
How's it going? It's going good. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain other than the weather outside here in Nebraska right now has been, up until like the last couple of days, it's been like, ugh.
Yeah, the snow really kills.
Oh, yeah. I record down in my basement, and there used to be a snow drift about halfway up the egress window.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been nuts, but hey, it usually only lasts for maybe a week or two, and then we're back to normal, crappy winter weather.
Yeah.
And then, I've got some great wrestling related stuff coming up. A show at the beginning of February. Going to go see in March, going to go see another show for Sami Callihan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver. That's always a fun time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And as of the other week, I just passed 200 recorded episodes. Not all released, but now I'm getting close to 210.
Awesome. Congratulations to that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's weird for me thinking that I'm already at that point when I only got to 100 right before last WrestleMania.
Yes.
So once I started noticing how close I actually was, I'm like, oh, if I thought I was going hard before.
I mean, that's what it really is too. It's just like you have to really keep going hard if you want to make sure this can make it or at least make it to a certain point.
Oh yeah. And I'd like for things to be bigger and continue to get big names, because hell, I'm having you. I've been a fan of yours ever since. Good Lord, I'm trying to remember. I got reintroduced to H2O after I started talking to the first handful of talent, and then they got me convinced I needed to get IWTV back. And
yes.
Then, boom, I saw you popping up, and then, I've been a fan. And then, I've had people, Matt Tremont haven't had him on, but, some of his fellow big names in the deathmatch community, I've had a ton, from John Wayne Murdoch, Alex Colon, Madman Pondo, Neil Diamond Cutter. I've had him on. So
yeah,
I've been lucky. So first thing I'd like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, And then what got you deciding to finally make that leap into the business?
I first started off as a fan of professional wrestling around like late 2005. The first time I ever saw wrestling was the episode of Monday Night Raw where Eric Bischoff like got fired and thrown into a dumpster.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yes, yeah, and I think another thing that made me like a huge fan of professional wrestling was like it was just seeing two guys going at it in a ring, whether they were like technical wrestling or even if it looked like a big old slugfest, or especially like the feel in like some of these like storylines, and especially when it's like rivalries and stuff as
Oh,
well. And one of my personal favorite rivalries I've ever seen in professional wrestling that like really got me hooked into it. And at the time when I was like when I was like five, about to turn 6 years old, was the inspiring heated rivalry between John Cena and Edge.
oh yeah, that was a good one. That was a
Yes.
classic. Yeah, oh god, that was around the time of I wanted to say that was around the time of that live sex celebration they had there, wasn't it? Around there,
Yeah,
they had.
that was at yeah, literally at the beginning of the year. Like that was literally like sometime in January, like before the Royal Rumble of that
Yeah,
year.
I've
And
been. Oh, go ahead.
and yeah, but yeah, like but here's the thing though, that wasn't what made me want to become a professional wrestler though, because as the years went by, I kind of forgot about it because I wasn't able to find the channels for like Raw or SmackDown until one of my best friends at the time in middle school reintroduced me back into it. And then a year later in 2013 I attended my very first WWE event, which was Money in the Bank 2013, when Rob
Ooh,
and made his return.
I'm jealous because I have yet to attend a pay-per-view of any kind. They don't tend to come too close to Omaha, Nebraska, for other than Raw or SmackDown. That's about all they do here anymore. Since
Interesting.
about 2008, I think 2008 was the last time they did a pay-per-view here.
Yes.
I wanted to say it was right before I left for Navy boot camp, and it was I'm wanting to say Judgment Day or Armor. It had Triple H versus Randy Orton in there somewhere.
Triple H versus was it WrestleMania 25?
No, it would have been one of the lesser ones. I think it was Judgment Day actually, when they actually had a Judgment Day pay per view.
Oh, like back when Randy like won the belts, the world
Yeah,
heavyweight belt. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, that was literally the last one, and I was already in the process of getting ready to leave for the Navy, so I didn't get to go. But I've actually been lucky enough on one occasion. You mentioned Edge. I actually got to meet him at one of those World of Wheels things.
Yes.
That was fun. And I still have it framed up here that when I finally get some of my framed stuff displayed. The DVD cover of I forget what year of the Elimination Chamber, but it's him on the cover and it looks like he's biting the cage.
Oh, yeah, that was Elimination in Chamber 2011, I think.
I think that might be right. Yeah, you
Yes,
know, that,
yeah, the Elimination Chamber 2011, and literally like a pay-per-view before his final match at the time at
mm,
WrestleMania
oh
27.
yeah, yeah. No, that was something. And nicest dude ever. When I got to meet him, I'm actually, as of recording this, we're a day before the big Adam Copeland versus Minoru Suzuki match. That when I saw that
Yes.
advertised, my jaw dropped, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad I don't have a recording scheduled that night because I am sitting down and watching every minute.
Yes.
That's gonna be amazing.
Yes,
Something,
yes, it
something.
is.
No, I don't think anybody would have thought before the last month or two that we would have ever seen.
100%.
Yeah, and Minoru Suzuki and Adam Copeland, Edge, however you want to refer to him as, they both have great in-ring personas. And one other thing that I like to ask each of the guests is, how did you come up with yours? Like that little origin story, because I understand with as many people as I've talked to, especially in those first couple of years, sometimes it can be a bit of a feeling out process.
Well, like my persona in the ring.
Yeah.
I honestly I wasn't really sure what I was completely thinking at the time. Like I know I needed something, and that was when and that's and at one time I was thinking like like I was thinking something similar with Resident Evil, because I'm a huge gamer and I really
Mm.
enjoy playing video games. And one time I was just playing Resident Evil 5, and that's when it just made me come up with the name Ryan
Mm.
Redfield.
You know what? I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but now that you bring it up, when you started talking about Resident Evil, I'm like, oh, the light bulb popped in my head where that came from.
Yes. Yeah, and yeah, like the thing was too was that like I needed a good last name, because I like my first name I knew was fine. I was fine with that, but my last name was just not going to cut it. And at the time I was trying to go over what options I can go over with preacher Phineas James, who was the trainer at the H2O Academy at the time. And he at first he was like he wanted it's something like that was like one word it pronounced like Briggs or something. And a lot of those names were taken, and a lot of the other names that I was trying to go with were also like taken as well, until I came up with Redfield.
Mm,
And as
gotcha.
for Big Red, that was 100% not on me. It was just it just completely like it was completely out of nowhere with the crowd, which I also give credit to Lady Blakely,
Mm.
who also started chanting Big Red during my very first professional wrestling match against the president Edward Hawkins.
Oh, cool. I love hearing about how stuff like that comes about, because sometimes it is just that, where somebody starts a chant and then boom, there you go.
Yes.
I know for me in the Navy, it was literally just big and the first two letters of my last name, and boom, off to, and it's sticked ever since. With my friends outside of the Navy in the wrestling community here, it just stuck. I'm like, hell, I'll run with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And, talking about H2O, they sure ended last year with a bang, a bunch of good quality shows, like all in the span of a couple months. I know. And they also had that Uncharted Territory was back for another season.
Yes,
And
story.
oh, I loved it. I tuned in every single week. And one story that I was wanting to talk to you about, little inside perspective of it, is the thing with the current H2O champ and Manders, where you kind of jumped in there. I was I was tuning in kind of late because I re-upped my IWTV. So, but that was one of the shows, one of the first ones I caught up with. I'm like,
What
ooh,
show
this
was
looks
it?
good. I am trying to remember.
Do you at least remember what it looked like, what the whole thing looked like?
You know, I just remember. I remember after you and Austin Luke seemed to be kind of at odds because like he didn't want your help, and then that led into in uncharted territory. You actually had a match with Manders, so and I
So apparent you're talking about like when I made my return and pretty much challenged Austin for the belt. Well,
yeah.
and I pretty much lost against Austin, and then it was announced that Manders was coming back, and he decided to challenge me because let's be real. Oh, Austin Luke may be the H2O, the current H2O champion, but there's no way in hell he would be holding that if it wasn't for me, because I was the one who helped him win that belt back in the first place.
Oh yeah, no, I yeah. For some
Ungrateful.
reason, I was pulling a brain fart on the specifics of it, but yeah, that was it. And I remember hearing the back and forth between you two, and yeah, I mean, hell, the proof is right in the video. You know, you were right there, and I remember tuning into the match against Manders, and that was a great match. I know I've had the pleasure of actually meeting Manders a handful of times. I even one time got him practically rolling on the floor laughing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like, oh hell, I'll just go ahead and say it. One of the guys next to him in the meet and greet line was complimenting my beard and asked how long I'd been growing it. I'm like, well, shit, I don't even remember. It's been so long since I've been clean shaven because, I mean, me with my bald head and clean shaven, man, my head would look like a penis. And
Oh
he was
my God.
practically on the floor laughing.
That's pretty funny.
I'm
Like
like, the way,
I've heard Manders rolling before, but man, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that making him cracking the fuck up.
oh, yeah. Because the way I look at it, if anybody has the license to make fun of me, it's myself.
Point taken. I mean, like it's best if it's yourself too.
Oh,
Sometimes.
yeah. Yeah. When you can, it's something special when you can laugh at yourself and not, you know, take it personal. Like, you like just dwell on it and you're able to just laugh.
Yes.
Because I tell you, especially with some of my earlier episodes, some of the first ones, when I happen to see little bits here and there, I pick myself apart. Like I'm like, oh God, did I sound like that?
Yo, I can confirm you are not the only one. Like I sometimes do that myself. Like say if I've just looked at myself back when I was younger, like I was really like that as a kid. Jeez.
Yeah, and that's why. Other than, well, looks like one of my other dogs wants to come and join, but that's why. Other than editing, I have yet to actually watch a full episode back because I just pick myself apart. Even now, like
Yeah.
I like to think that, I got my rhythm. I've been able to, take constructive criticism and tips from people on you could do this better, this could be an improvement, and then I run with it. And I'd like to think I'm doing all right, but I can't watch myself back.
100%.
And another match that I have a specific memory of this one watching it because I was literally on the phone with a friend of mine that does wrestling production during the match. Like I saw you come out, and then all of a sudden I'm like out of the corner of my eye, and then I look, and I'm like, telling that friend, I'm like, holy shit, there's Hoodfoot.
Oh yes.
That
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 was probably that was probably one of the most like surprising matches I've had in like uncharted territory. Like I remember when I got the text like saying that if I was coming that I was tentatively going to wrestle Hoodfoot. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be at the show or not because I never got like hit up about anything, and with how like my Uncharted role was really going, I really wanted to end it with a bang, and I felt like Hoodfoot was definitely a good option for that.
Oh, most definitely. I remember watching Hoodfoot when it was right before he had to take that little bit of a break because of that scary injury in a
Oh
death match
yeah,
show. I was watching that match as it was happening, and like all of a sudden it just came to an abrupt end, and I'm like, wait, what the hell just happened? And then they start to talking about it, and I've like seen pictures of the wound, and I'm like, yeah, it makes sense now.
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I've fortunately never been witness to any gruesome stuff like that. I mean, well, not involving blood per se, but I don't know if you remember a while back, it went all over social media where a referee at an NXT house show, like literally his, like right above his ankle just went,
Ooh, I don't think I've seen that before.
and he still counted the 1, 2, 3 at the end. That was at an NXT house show here in Omaha. I was sitting third row, main floor. They wheeled him off right by me.
My God, I can't even. I gotta give props to him though. Like the fact that it just went like that and he was still able to count it, like that's dedication right there.
Oh God, yeah, yep. And you know what? I am trying to remember who the name of the guy, but it's escaping me. I mean, I'd like to think people would give me a break on that because shit, I had damn near 210 episodes now. So sometimes some names off the fly escape me.
Yes, I can 100% understand, especially when there's like so much going on at the same time.
Oh God, yeah. Hell, especially now with wrestling. Holy shit. Like I
Yes,
remember
so
what was it?
much.
I
Whether
am
it's
trying to remember. There was like multiple, I think WWE and AEW were both doing shows that were either a PLE or a you know, Collision or whatever it was. And then, all the stuff that was on IWTV that night. And then, Fight TV has got all their stuff. So just anywhere that you wanted to watch wrestling, there you had options.
yeah, there's like so many. There's so many like streaming platforms that has wrestling, whether it's Fight TV, IWTV, or even like, or if you want to do like just the mainstreams, you got like WWE on Peacock. You got the TNA streaming service, like New
Mm.
Japan World, Ring of Honor Club.
Yeah, it's nuts. And what a time to be a fan, really.
Yeah, like it really like helped it really helped like step the game up when it comes to like viewing like certain like these shows, especially if you want to like go back like right now to view them as well.
Oh yeah. Like I got rid of Honor Club only because, well, I think some other people would agree that, I mean, I've heard they're improving on it, but when their champions are only showing up on the AEW programming and not on Ring of Honor, other than Athena, I was just at the point where I'm like, you know what? If I want to see them, I'll just go watch AEW.
Hmm.
And I'm hearing that at least last week it was a bit of an improvement because they were actually having champions on the show.
They should.
No, you would think,
Yeah.
because
Like,
yeah, it got to the point where I'm like, I was excited when ROH TV was coming back, and then the first little bit I'm like, okay, but then the champions started going more on AEW programming, having the belts and defending them. I'm like, why pay for Honor Club when I can just watch Dynamite?
yeah.
So, oh well. Now, 2024, going back to H2O, definitely getting off to a great start. I know they have coming up in February a big tournament where the Danny Havoc hardcore title is getting defended, where like the winner of it all gets the title, but a Bam Sullivan, I think was his name, is
Yes.
the current champ, is in the tournament. So basically, if he loses, there's definitely a new champ.
100%. Definitely a new champion.
So that's going to be epic. They've already announced what I imagine is not the whole card of participants, but
As of right now, there's still five more participants to be announced.
okay. I was curious about that because I forgot if they ever mentioned the exact number that was going to be in there, but I'm like, okay, already with the people they've announced, I'm like, dang, this is going to be one intense show.
Yeah, it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah, and hell, with the potential of a new champion, because you know, I mean, Eddie Kingston went through that Continental Classic and came out champion, but the champions don't always end up with that in their favor.
No, not at all.
So it'll be interesting to see. And then WrestleMania week coming up like a month or two after that, and HO's got their big, pretty much the whole damn week is looking like it's going to be pretty nice.
Yes.
So, where are you looking for? Like, do you feel like you are going to be put in that tournament, or I imagine you'll be involved in the WrestleMania week stuff at some
No,
point.
I'm not. I can 100% confirm I am not going to be in the tournament at all. Like, as much as I respect, like, deathmatch wrestling, I do not consider myself, I am no deathmatch wrestler at
Not
all. Like I
understandable.
would do I would do matches with like doors, like with hardcore and all that stuff, but like, or even like whether it's like no DQ or like last man standing matches, but you will not ever see me in like a match with like full glass and all that shit.
Yeah, no, that can be a bit much for anybody. I know. Good Lord, I remember one of the craziest matches I saw was actually one of it was actually my first ever legit death match that I actually saw, and it was Jake Chris versus Joel Bateman in a death match. It was nice, and the way it ended, I was sitting third row, and I'm like, I'm thinking people might think I'm nuts, but they took four folding chairs, bridged two panes of glass on there, and then Bobby Olson, Jake Chris pal, rolls in. I see him pull out lighter fluid. They light the glass on fire.
Yeah, I'm all good from that.
Yeah, no, I would not do anything like that. I know, maybe a light tube, but I'm definitely wearing a shirt Well, if I'm getting hit by a light tube or something,
Yeah, 100%. Plus,
or even
you got like all those shards of glass, like have to get out of your skin, along with the along with the spooky dust that will like cover up like all the places. Like I still remember to this day how the H2O building looked after Matt and Neil had
mm,
that 700 light tubes death
oh
match.
god,
Like, oh my gosh.
yeah. And then what was I was just thinking about this thumbtacks. Like I would definitely have to be wearing a shirt because you know what? I see the videos of them pulling out the thumbtacks from people's backs and stuff. And I'm like, okay, if I'm wearing a shirt, all I got to do is, just pull my shirt a little and there we go.
Pretty
At least
much.
that's the way I have it playing in my head.
I mean, you never really know exactly how it's going to like end up unless like you're literally on that end of it. But like then again, we'll never really know.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you never really know until you're already in the middle of it.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Now, I've also seen some other promotions advertised that you're involved in. I want to be able to, not just shine light on H2O, but pretty much anywhere. So, what are some of the other places that you're involved in so we can get people's eyes everywhere?
My secondary promotion is 100% Sean Henderson and Productions, or Sean Henderson Presents. Sean has always been a really nice guy to me. He's helped me get through some stuff. He's always wanted me to have like some of the best matches that I've ever can have like in my career and all that as well. Oh, even like during days when we're just like super frustrated about like what's just going on, like and why is it just going on like this over and over and over again. He wants to make sure that like myself, along with like other people that he really loves working with or he's good friends with, that have like really great matches and can also like help and try to help them like elevate themselves self to eventually like send some of these matches to like other promoters and trying to like branch yourself out as well.
Oh, yeah. It's always good to have people like that behind you. And, going into, I got two categories that I like to fit in the show here. And I try to theme it towards each guest. And, with the connection with H2O, I've lost count of how many people I've had on from there. I still got more on the books, but and H2O has been incredibly good to me. So each of these people, a bit twofold here. One, they've all gone through H2O, and two, they've all been past guests of the show. So I give you
Yes.
the name, you give me some quick thoughts on the person.
Okay.
First one, Neil Diamond Cutter.
Neil Diamond Cutter is the fucking man. He is like he's one match that I am waiting for, or like I know he wants to wrestle me. I want to wrestle him. He's always been so nice to me. He's always told me like some great advice and all that stuff as well. Especially when I was having at the time where I think was like one of my best years as a wrestler, which was 2021. Gave me some really good advice throughout out, and he's always been like so supportive of me and always like helping out like others as well, and I just highly appreciate him.
Oh yeah, I got nothing but great things to say about him myself. He was a pleasure to get to talk to, and you know, I guess it always amazes me, especially with well, really anybody, but especially guys like his stature, where I'm thinking getting him on. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a like a long shot, and then they've come on, and I'm like, it. I guess there's that part of me that I guess going back to that whole thing of me being my own worst critic.
Hmm.
You know, when people like that or hell anybody comes on, I'm always grateful and flattered because it's like, wow, these guys are wanting to take time to talk to me. I mean, I'm growing. I've had some good opportunities. I've been I've had footage featured on Warrior Wrestling out of Chicago, their pre-shows on two different streaming platforms. So that's
Nice.
always been cool. I've been involved with uh with them at a St. Louis stop, and I got to meet some great people like Athena, like who else was there? Lance Archer, um, Jeff Cobb, uh, Jonah, going back now by Bronson Reed.
Yeah,
And I actually got to do a mini episode with him
that's awesome.
there. So that was like when he said that he'd do it, I'm like, holy crap, I didn't think anybody would actually agree to do it. And I mean, he was
Nice.
going in between Impact and New Japan at the time. I think he was maybe it was right before he ended up beating Okada. So it was like a pretty big time for him. So,
Yeah, that was like that's a big win too.
oh, totally. Now, next person, and I'm trying to feature more female talent on here because, yeah, there's so much great female talent out there. But I'm talking about the grimy bitch Jess Moss.
Je- Jess is a really good friend and of mine. Like I've known her. I've known her for before she started wrestling at the H2O, back when she was like coming into shows as a fan with Declan Grant, and I remembered I remember when she first started her training, and then eventually like first started like wrestling and all that. Like I'd say like the best thing about Jess Moss is that she can be like a really hard worker, and she's like she is also a nice person as well. Like same with like her and Declan Grant.
Oh yeah, and hell, some of the few talent from H2O that I haven't had on yet, Declan Grant, I definitely am interested there. So we'll see. Next up, a guy that I was excited for the opportunity he had when he faced off against another former guest at a recent H2O show, talking about JB Anderson.
I've remember when I first met JB when he and the others that he was with at the time always kept coming to the building from Maryland, and I remember I had a program with him and his stable, which I think they were called the Maryland Marauders. It was me and GJ against them. It was also during the time that I was pretty much like an in-betweener falling to a full heel because I was under Manders's I was under like Manders's like manipulation at the
Mm,
time in that store during that storyline. And but one of the best, I think, again, what I would say the best thing about JB is that like he is like a hard worker.
mm,
Like I'd I'd say like him along with like Jess Moss, they 100% got a lot to work on. Like this is just me being brutally honest. I love them to death, but they like I do think that he and Jess Moss need like got a lot to work on, especially when it comes to like their like in ring ability and trying to like perfect it. Like not necessarily saying that everything needs to be perfect because nothing's perfect at all,
yeah,
but there's definitely like some notable patches that need there's definitely some notable openings that just need to be like patched up when it comes to like their in-ring work, but there it doesn't change the fact that they are hard workers, and it
yeah.
doesn't change the fact that they are good friends of mine, and I love them to death, and I'm also proud of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, It makes sense. Nobody's perfect, and with them both being hard workers, it shouldn't be too much time before they start getting those things improved upon.
Yes.
Next up, last but not least, Hall of Famer in multiple places, Low Life Louie.
A match that I have been waiting for ever since this one show called Air to Thy Throne. He Low Life Louie is like one of the most selfless people I have ever met in my fucking life. Like, I remember how nice he always was to me when I was like first breaking into wrestling. I remember the day he won the H2O belt, and one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken was the day that I won my very first belt in professional wrestling when I became the inaugural H2O Undiscovered Champion. He was there along with past hybrid champion at the time named Frankie Picard and one half of the H2O tag team champions at the time, Jeff Cannonball. We all took this picture, and one of the things he said, like after we took this picture to somebody that was recording backstage, was within this building while we were all holding our belts is the past patting at itself, the present patting at Frankie Picard, and the future patting at me.
That. Oh wow, yeah. I can understand how that would be a favorite picture. That's something special.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Now, I have some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be.
Shoot.
Some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. That's why they're random. So,
Shoot.
like, I give you the question, you give me first answer that pops in your head.
Okay.
First one, craziest in match moment for you.
I got a lot. I got a lot of them. I'm trying to think. I think my craziest in You know what? I'll go with this one. I'm not didn't like this. I did not like this match for a good amount of reasons, but but there was just one part that just really surprised the heck out of me. I There was a scramble that I had at the at an H2O at the Death Anniversary show. And it was me, Rocket, Reed Walker, Austin Luke, and Marcus Mathers.
Mm,
And there was a spot where actually, oh wait, I forgot one more. Dylan
mm,
McKay as well. Oh, there was a spot at the beginning of the match where I was supposed to where I was gonna do like a dive, like I did a dive and stuff to it. Uh, and this spot was just 100% improved because some stuff happened. But but when I went for the dive, I didn't realize I still had like my left hand on the rope, and I didn't post myself on the ring either. But when I like had my left hand like holding onto the rope while I was diving, I literally like did like a somersault into like the pile of people that was just that was in that match.
whew.
And it was like really crazy and funny. And I think the funny part was some guy caught it on video and uploaded it to Instagram, and he made it like all slow motion too. It was pretty.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can see that being quite the viral clip there.
Yes.
All right. Now, I've had people on that, they prefer one way or the other on this. But for you, heel or face, which side do you prefer for you?
Babyface 100%. Like I do see myself. I do think I was a great heel during that whole like Manders period, but when it comes to me, I just cannot ever see myself like being like full heel for the sake of being like full heel. Like the reason why I really like that heel turn that I did during the whole Manders storyline was because it wasn't like out of like a random coincidence. It was more out of like me being caught into like Manders's words and his manipulation and while in my head during this whole storyline I was like feeling abandoned by people I thought were my mentors and my friends. And Manders and I formed Red Dead Redemption, and then Austin won the belt for the first time, to which switched down to Manders taking the belt the next day. And I have become like extremely conflicted over a lot that's been going on inside my head, whether it's like feeling abandoned or wanting the belt or understanding where my place is like in that whole story.
Oh yeah. No, that because I've had people on, yeah, they prefer face, but then I've also had people on that they say for some reason they feel heel was just so much easier and fun because they felt like getting the booze and the heat
Yes.
was easier than figuring out what to do to get the cheers sometimes, I guess. All right. Now, we kind of talked about this next thing a little bit, being a gamer. So I'm going to guess, probably know the answer to this already.
Okay.
Hobbies,
Well,
gaming.
obviously playing video games, but other hobbies I have outside of gaming are working out. Well, I'm recently getting ready to start like working out a lot more often too, especially like after some inspirations I've been having from guys that are mainly outside of H2O, like specific oh which the main name points out to Jordan Oliver, because
Mm.
Jordan Oliver has been another one who has been like supporting me a lot and stuff. Like he's really like enjoyed my match. He's really been enjoying what I've been doing for like the last like few years, and he said to me, and he even said it on Twitter that he wants to wrestle me, and I
That
want
would be,
to wrestle him too.
though, that would be a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and one of the main reasons why I've been like so hot, one of the main reasons why I have been like working out like so much is because like it's not just Jordan I've been noticing that's been like taking like a liking to me. It's like other people as well, like including one legend himself in Too Cold Scorpio
Ooh.
after I had one of my best matches at SHP against Calvin Tankman.
Ooh. I mean, both pretty awesome names right there. I'm fairly familiar with Calvin Tankman, especially with some of the work he's done with my friends out at Warrior Wrestling. And then
Yeah.
Too Cold Scorpio. I mean, good Lord, legend right there. Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to gaming, though, are you one that it doesn't matter the system? Or are you more of a diehard for your, Xbox or PlayStation?
It doesn't matter for me what system it is, like whether it's like Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, it doesn't matter at all. I think the one thing that really does matter to me though is preservation.
Mm.
Like especially like finding out a lot about today about like in 2023 and all that stuff, that like video game preservation is shit. Like it really is.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel about this, or like how people will feel about this when it comes to like physical and digital gaming, but like there's like major cons on both where throughout. And honestly, one thing I feel like that people should do is just pull a whole thing where they focus on both physical and digital at the same time, just to please the people that like would truly enjoy only physical or people that enjoy only digital. And one contingency I sometimes write up is for them to at least revamp the older systems with like modern components and modern wires that would fit in TVs today.
Uh,
Along
that
with
would be interesting. Like
yeah,
I do have some more like retro systems. Like I got my old Nintendo 64 out behind the camera here that
yeah,
I haven't picked up too much lately, but right now I've been mostly playing on the Xbox Series S, the digital one.
yes,
And not too long ago, I find like I've never 100% of the game. Like for the longest time, up until the last month, I finally 100%ed that Retromania wrestling game, and then that new Mortal Kombat.
ooh, nice.
That one took me a little bit, but I got it done. And when that last achievement popped up on the screen, I'm like, holy crap, I did it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a fun game too.
yes, it was.
You know, you know, hobbies myself. Behind me here got a bunch of my collections. I do the Funko Pops. I souvenir shot glasses is another big thing of mine. Like I got
Yeah,
them. And when growing up, it was pro wrestling and Ninja Turtles for me. So I like the top of my shelf here is a good chunk of my Ninja Turtle stuff. I got a couple autograph things like from the voice of Michelangelo from the original cartoon. I got a signed Funko Pop of his, and the guy behind Splinter in the first two movies
yes.
got a Funko Pop signed by him. And then let me 2, 4, 6, 8. I got like 11 as of right now signed figures from people like Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre, Kushida, Kaya Valkyrie,
That's
Lance
awesome.
Archer, and Hangman Page.
That's awesome.
I even that Warrior show I was at, Jeff Cobb, he actually had some there at his table. I'm like, ooh, I wouldn't
Jeff
mind that.
Jeff Cobb fucking rules.
Oh my god, yeah. He went up against Jonah Bronson Reed that night. I was sitting so close that those two chopping each other, I could see the individual beads of sweat flying off.
Yes.
It was nuts. But yeah, gaming, I might not be the stereotypical gamer, but yeah, I right now I'm in after I 100% in Mortal Kombat, I've been picking back up WWE 2K23, and I'm finally getting my GM down because it's always a feeling out process for me at first. But
Yes.
once I get the hang of it, I'm like, okay, here we go.
100%.
But I love that damn mode of the game. Drafting your people and figuring out who to put where. That's awesome stuff.
It is.
All right, now before I get on too big of a tangent there, I always laugh when people talk about big lottery jackpots and no, you can never spend that much money. I'm like, I always just laugh and say, yeah, watch me. Give me that much money and tell me I have to spend all of it. Watch me. So that is leading into my question here. That much money is what I like to call fuck it money. Or like you have so much money that things that you never thought you'd be able to afford, you'd be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get it. What is something in that situation that you would get? Or that you would do with the money?
I have no idea, honestly. That fucking money. Probably like go on to like probably like create some sort of like I don't know, a utopia or some kind of like system where like have the money to try and like put together a system that's like similar to like the Matrix or the Oasis, where you like put your mind in like this other world, or basically
Ooh,
like putting your mind in like a video game or something.
ooh, kind of like that. Not only Matrix, but kind of like Ready Player One.
Yes, the Oasis from Ready Player One.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, for some reason I forgot that was the name of the place, but yeah, that right there, that would be something to have that much money to
Yeah,
be able
yeah,
to put together
yeah,
something like.
yeah. Probably like put one for probably also like have like a corner for like I don't know, maybe me and Manders as well, because like say if like Manders wanted like to go inside his mind, had like some sort of ranch, and I just came in and just be like this one scene from like the town or something when we were like a
That would be something. Or I can imagine Manders in something like that, in kind of a the old west sort of spot. Like
yeah.
I don't know, he just seems to like he would fit there.
I want to talk about Manders real quick because like
Hey,
he's
let's
actually
do it.
yeah, because Manders is actually another one that I really like deserves a lot of credit for like helping me. Like out of everybody who has helped me like in like wrestling, like to try and like help me like grow and all that stuff, like outside of like Matt At and Preacher and like the other trainers, Manders is the one outside of them that has helped me the most. The first time I've ever the first time the my first time I've ever seen him was when GCW was running at the Showboat one time, and it was him and SG all the other members of SGC at the time wrestling. It was wrestling like Ninja Mac and all that and all those other
Mm.
guys. Well, like it down in AC, it was like the day before the H2O show that was running there too. Oh, and I remember I was walking back to the hotel with Stretch Etch, Lady Blakely, and Gigi was like all wrapped around on a fucking blanket, naked and stuff. As he had a couple of inks and stuff too, and Manders came out and he was just like, "Nah, man, that's pretty awesome." We had a bit of a laugh, but then Matt was getting ready to start the Monday Night Death shows at the time, and he told me that Manders is coming to H2O and he's going to wrestle me for his H2O debut.
Ooh, that's
And yeah, and then Manders became like when Manders came down. I remember I had a text message like a few weeks before the show from Chris because they were also down in AC again and because GCW was running there again. And Chrissy told me she just finished talking to Manders and that he was really excited to like work me and stuff because he's been watching a lot of my stuff and our styles are pretty much similar too because he has his like his Stan Hansen lariat and I have the
yeah,
disc lariat.
yep.
And then the day of the show, the Monday Night Death show, where he and I were wrestling each other, or we clicked. Like we had like so many good ideas and stuff together, and I was like so nervous too before the match. And this is something about me, like when it comes to like before matches, if I'm like really, really, really nervous, that match probably becomes one of my best. And this is without a doubt saying this because I know like Papa G, the referee Nick Papa G, like says this all the time. My first match with Manders was probably the match that like put me on the map for other wrestlers. And he and I had like a huge history since. He's been helping me out, giving me great advice. We've had like great matches against each other. We formed the Red Dead Redemption tag team, won the tag team belts twice, then had that storyline which kind of ended short, honestly, because for me, because like there was a whole different thing that was supposed to go down during that whole storyline that was and on how it was going to end, but like some stuff was just happening and he was getting busier and busier, so it had to like I just had to try and roll with the punches with that.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. And yeah, I've always been a fan of his. I know I actually, oh, first time I actually saw him live, it was just him. Actually, the first couple of times. And then I finally got to see the whole SGC crew. And I actually, they've always like got a chuckle out of when I, say on social media that their matches might as well be sponsored by Home Depot. And I actually got to tell them that in person once, and we just had a good laugh. And the last time I tweeted out right as their match was starting, and I just said, "Well, here's your Home Depot match of the night." And they got a good laugh out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing but great things to say about those guys. So, with the name of a show like I have here, I feel like I pretty much have to have this question in here. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, dirt hell, one of each, because I know there's.
I don't drink.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
because I've had plenty of people on that for one reason or another don't, so that's why I started putting in or non-alcoholic because trying to be respectful of
Yes.
people that don't.
Um, well, when it comes to sodas, it's hard for me to choose like whether it's between like Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, or Fanta Orange. Those are probably like my top three like favorite sodas.
I'm a bit of a Dr. Pepper fiend myself. My wife thinks I have a bit of a problem. I tell her as long as I have some, I don't have a problem. But
Yeah.
yeah, Dr. Pepper. But each of those choices you had there, solid choices. Although I get a chuckle out of orange soda because it always makes me think of.
Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. Is it true? Is it true? Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, it's true. Ooh. I do. Ooh.
That pops in my head every time I hear anybody talk about orange soda.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Man, now that just got me thinking I'd love to actually get to meet that guy.
That would be cool.
That would be some. All right. Last but not least here, because I hear my dogs rumbling around up there. Best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling?
Be 100% honest. Like and also make sure you are ready, like whether it's physically and especially like mentally. Like I'm gonna like say this too. Like when I was first training at at that same building before it was even like H2O, I was not like at my best. I was just basically this overweight kid with no shred of athleticism in your body. And honestly, if you interview Austin Luke, he will tell you, because like I've known Austin Luke when he and I like first started training in that building, and that was before that building became H2O, because back then it was ran by Jim Molyneux for OTW. Yes, and yeah, Austin and I trained there, and I was literally like not at the best shape of my life. I was like probably my worst, because I was like so overweight. I couldn't even do a leapfrog while I was training. I couldn't even do a leapfrog. Like I was always tripping over myself. I got stuck on their ropes one time. Like it was a rough period for me when I was first getting started, and like also with how like the environment and was sometimes aims as well, but like which actually does get me to another person I definitely would want to talk about, and that is Austin Luke. Austin
Oh,
Luke is Austin Luke is out of everybody in like wrestling, Austin Luke, along with like the president Eddie Hawkins and other guys I've met, like Ryan Radix, like those are the guys I know the most. Like I know the most in wrestling, and Austin has been a really good friend of mine, like since he and I like trained together at OTW, and then OTW like shut down their school. They shut down their school for a bit, and then H2O took over, and that was when Austin came into that was when Austin came in to train at the time, like sometime after H2O came and took over that building. And a few months later, I was texting him on freaking on like social medias and all that stuff, because like I don't think we had our phone numbers at the time. And he told and I like and I was on him that I was thinking of coming down there, and he told me to like bring like $5 of mat fee, because like we pretty much completed our tuition at OTW at the time, so we didn't really have to start all over at H2O. And it was really history in that as well. And the history that Austin and I have, especially in that building, like it really like adds to the chemistry that he and I like have every time we fight each other in the ring, because we always go hard. And this is like without a doubt, like I have a lot of like people in wrestling that I consider like my rivals. Austin Luke, I'd say, is 100% my arch rival in professional wrestling, while also being a brother from another mother, like in like real life and stuff as well. Like I would honestly compare my like Austin and I to Dante and Virgil from the Devil May Cry games. Like
uh,
that's what I can like see out of it.
okay.
And it also doesn't, and it also like adds to the fact that he's like also talented as well. Like definitely one of the best out of all of us too.
Oh yeah, no, he's crazy talented, crazy athletic. Huge fan of his. Hoping I can get in contact with him because I would love to have him on eventually. But anyways, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
You Everybody can follow me on both Instagram and Twitter. Not X, it's Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can follow me at Ryan Redfield 124. And
Oh,
you can also like my Facebook page, Ryan Redfield.
okay, we'll definitely get all of that in the description. That is basically all I have. Thank you again for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Best of luck with 2024 and beyond. And like I try to tell everybody, you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.